Well, from one iconic horror game to another, after escaping Alexander's castle, I say it's time I jump back into the world of Capcom and all their iconic and dead IPs. And what better IP to take a look at than the Resident Evil franchise? So let's get our bomber jackets on and take a trip to Spain as I take a look at Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 2 of this year's October extravaganza. For tonight, I'm taking a look at Resident Evil 4 Remake. RE4 Remake is a third-person survival horror game developed and published by Capcom, released for the PlayStation 4 and 5, the Xbox One and Series consoles, and of course the PC in March of 2023, and later Apple devices in December, and a free VR mode for the PlayStation VR 2 in the same month. RE4 Remake is, well, obviously, a remake and or reimagining of the original 2005 game, since Capcom has been remaking their old Resident Evil games since the Resident Evil 2 remake back in 2019. You know, before the world went to shit 1 year later. Man, makes you think we're living in an alternate timeline, right? Wait, I know it's October, but now isn't the time to make me start contemplating. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 Remake was actually the first Resident Evil game I've ever beaten. I have played the original, just never beaten it. So, as a Resident Evil noob, basically, is RE4 Remake any good? And is it a game I can recommend to you? Let's find out. So the story of Resident Evil 4 Remake is kind of the same premise as the original 05 game. Taking place 6 years later after Resident Evil 2 Remake, Leon is tasked with finding and rescuing the president's kidnapped daughter, Ashley Graham. Oh goody, it's like Final Fantasy all over again. We arrive in Spain, meet this dashing fellow named Luis Serra Navarro. By any chance is he related to someone who dons red and fights evil space aliens with the power of dinosaurs? We rescue Ashley from a church, later meet with Leon's mentor Jack Krause, who later kidnaps Ashley to the island prison. We meet Los Illuminatos cult leader Osmond Sadler. We kill him, and the game closes out just like the 05 original, with Leon and Ashley escaping via jet ski. And that was my terrible abridging of Resident Evil 4 Remake's plot. Overall, it does keep the same story beats as the original game, but if you're a massive stickler for the original, then you might notice a couple things either toned down or removed entirely. But for the most part, the characters are all roughly the same, and some got some changes. Main examples are Ashley and Louise. Ashley in the original game is just your typical damsel in distress, no different from a Peach or an Elise archetype. But here in the remake, she does try fighting back from time to time. Granted, it ends in failure because we gotta stick to the original source material, but Ashley is actually pretty bearable here. What's also helping is that her cries for Leon aren't as painful to listen to here.
Help! Leon! Help!
As for Louise, Ari did like him in the original, but they pretty much go more in depth and gave the guy more layers, to simply put it. The villains are also the same, some hammy, some intimidating, but yeah, honestly, the story is good. It's just that I'm clearly playing this without any prior context to the Resident Evil 2 remake. But now, with the story done, let's move on to the gameplay. Gameplay of Resident Evil 4 Remake has us in the shoes of Leon from beginning to end, and name of the game is walk, shoot, look for items, ammo, or key items, and die. If you've played any Resident Evil game post the original RE4, then the gameplay should click. And if you've only ever played the RE2 and 3 remake, then it's basically the same over-the-shoulder third-person shooter style. Much like 05 RE4, if you've managed to shoot one of the enemies in the head or bring them down to their knees, Leon can either kick or suplex them for extra damage, and god damn, it's so satisfying to pull off. We do also have a variety of weapons, from pistols, shotguns, SMGs, rocket launchers, revolvers, and cross. Oh, alright. The bolt launcher. Avoid it. Man, and I thought I have a massive arsenal. Well, Leon's arsenal isn't as big as yours or even someone else like Jack or Ratchet. Leon does have limited inventory space in his Michael Kors purse, and guns tend to take up most of the space, so it's all about picking and choosing what weapons you want to keep and what to get rid of. We can purchase new weapons from the returning merchant, who also helps upgrade our guns as well as allow us to purchase new crafting options, weapons, grenades, among so much other stuff. Speaking of the merchant, there are small favors we could do for him in exchange for spinels. Though, honestly, outside of the maps the merchant sells, which shows treasures, some of them just... they aren't just worth it outside of the laser pointer. Now, unlike in RE4 2005, in the remake the knife has durability, and outside of the weaker knives you can collect as substitute for your main knife, it does get kind of annoying having your knife break on you, especially after parrying. Knife, knife, knife. See, that word just loses all meaning the more you say it. Luckily, once we've upgraded one of our weapons plenty of times, we can use a weapon upgrade ticket for an exclusive upgrade, ranging for a knife that doesn't run out of durability to a revolver with infinite ammo. Now, this is more so a skill issue on my part, but I'm not that good with aiming in the regular flat mode. Keep in mind, I recorded the entirety of RE4 Remake in the original flat mode, and about half of the game in VR mode. Even after turning up the sensitivity with the camera, it still felt somewhat sluggish, and more often than not, I found myself missing headshots unless I'm near touching with the Ganados, which runs the risk of me getting grabbed, so instead I lose health and knife durability. Whereas in VR mode, not only is my aim better since I'm using my real life body like I'm using an airsoft or even a Nerf blaster, but the VR mode also has the added benefit that I could dual wield pistols and make me feel like a goddamn action hero. And the VR mode is also a lot more fun to play with friends.
Sorry, ladies, I'm kind of in the middle of a situation here. Come on, little Max, get up! Get up! Guys, I ain't getting up.
I don't think Little Mac's neck ever got chopped open.
It basically nullifies the effect of you holding your weapon.
Okay, you got him, you got him.
He never has been the whole show, but I've already shown him some highlights and he really loves it.
Yeah.
Wrong gun, wrong gun.
Yeah, I know. Wrong one again.
We keep saying
Oh,
this,
they're
but
bigger
he's pretty
guns.
much bad.
Ordnance.
Surely these wooden planks won't break.
Well, of course not. Of course not. Everyone knows that Minotaurs can't break wood.
If I do have to talk about the VR mode, I absolutely love it. It's scary, it's immersive, and it's just overall incredibly fun to play. The VR mode does have the option for more realistic reloading, so say you need to reload one of Leon's pistols, you actually have to pull back on the top part in order to complete the reload. And the feeling of the VR DualSense controllers are so goddamn immersive, like stopping your pointer finger right before pulling the trigger, almost like you're prepping yourself to shoot. Thank you, Capcom, for making this mode free to download. Now can you please do the same with the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake and Resident Evil 7's PS5 versions? Nah, they would never do that. Just ask Mega Man whenever he asks them for a new game. Damn! Visually, this looks amazing. Much like any other top-tier Capcom game, RE4 Remake uses Capcom's in-house game engine, the RE engine, which you think would kind of stand for Resident Evil engine, but no, it stands for Reach for the Moon engine. You guys had one chance, and you guys blew it worse than trusting to meme with Devil May Cry. Anyway, Resident Evil 4 Remake looks absolutely phenomenal. The environment, the enemies, the bosses, all of it looks grotesque yet amazing to look at, especially with the extra costumes you can unlock, like Leon's iconic gangster outfit. As for OST, much like Amnesia, it's mainly atmospheric to keep you on your toes, despite this being where Resident Evil focused more on the action rather than the horror. Now, let's recap. I think the story, while it's staying true to the original, is pretty good. Gameplay, especially in VR, it's so much fun. Visually, this looks absolutely beautiful at times, and the OST is atmospheric and immersive. So I say, let's end part 2 of the October extravaganza with my final thoughts. Overall, Resident Evil 4 Remake might just be my personal favorite Resident Evil game. I know I haven't played much from this franchise other than a few demos of past RE games, and while I do own Resident Evil 5 on PlayStation 3, I have yet to play it. But as someone who truly started their journey into the Resident Evil franchise with this remake, as well as the original 2005 version, I can easily say I am now a fan, a casual fan to be specific, of the Resident Evil franchise. I was hooked on the premise, the gameplay was solid, visually this feels like a real place I could visit, and what's helping was the free to download VR mode, and just an amazing atmospheric soundtrack. If you're new to Resident Evil or a returning fan, I can easily say you should pick this game up, especially considering it's not that expensive pre-owned. Only $30 on Xbox Series X and PS4, and $20 for PlayStation 5 users. So, overall, Resident Evil 4 Remake gets my score of a solid 10 out of 10. Yes, even with the fact we escort Ashley, with the feel how RE4 Remake handles compared to the original, it doesn't bother me that much. But of course, I want to know from you all. Did you play Resident Evil 4 Remake? Did you enjoy it more than the original? And is it a game you could recommend to a friend? Please leave your answers and more down in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and while you're here, consider subscribing and turn on the bell to be notified whenever I make a new video. As always, my social media links are down below. Make sure to follow me on Twitch to stay up to date whenever I'm doing anything in between not making videos. As always, I've been Harakid the Reviewer, and I will see you all in the next review. Take care, everybody.